Okay, so I keep saying that I feel I have already lived the timeline that we are about to experience collectively before, and that is because I have. And I want to talk to you guys about it today, okay? So I can't pinpoint precisely when it was in time that we're currently overlapped with, but what I'm gonna say is that it's like we're in kind of a weird conglomeration of the energy of 2016 into 2017. And I have some reasons behind this and I'm going to be sharing, okay? So in 2016, 2017, like very tail end of 2016 into 2017, things began to get like really weird, okay? I started Harvest Rose Witchery in July of 2016, started casting spells professionally in 2016, doing readings professionally in 2016, and there was a real kind of like lull to the energy and frequency of magic. It was there, it was present, but it was not that prevalent. There was a lot of like spiritual people out there, but the concept of like, especially like professional witchery, while there were people out there doing professional witchcraft, that was not on the internet at the anywhere near the level that it is now. And if you weren't in that space prior to really like TikTok in 2020, you're not going to have any idea what I'm talking about. But it was not what it is today, to say the least. There was very little. There were very few people teaching online classes. There were very few people doing professional witchcraft online. There were very few people who were, especially like posting like their spells online, right? And I've seen people in this modern era, this is something I just want to say real quick. I've seen people in this modern era of 2025 talking about how it's an invasion of privacy to post your client's spell work online. And if you have felt that way, I need you to know, as someone who has professionally cast over 10,000 spells, okay? My clients actually, I think, liked the fact that I posted their spell work almost more, at least as much as getting the spells cast. People loved seeing their work online. People loved seeing what was being done for them on the altar because it gave them a sense of security and knowing that they had never seen that candle set up before, that on that altar in that exact way, because I customize all of my spell work to the individual. So a binding and banishing, can be cast for 100 different people and look slightly different every time. And the audio was recorded about that person, that client situation. It was talking about them. They had client numbers. So they knew, like their information was never publicly shared. And even when talking about like past clients and things, and even in talking about the altar updates, you can go back on my Instagram and find thousands of them. I'm extremely vague and generic in what I actually share on those altar updates because I never wanted anybody to be able to watch my altar updates and be like, I know who that is. So I was very careful with everything that I shared. Sometimes the public story was like very, I wouldn't share all the details, to say the least, right? I might say that, this was a client who worked in the entertainment industry, but that was as far as I might say. I might not even say that. I might just say that this client had some issues going on at work, right? Might say that this client had some issues going on with her mother-in-law. Well, lots of people have issues going on with their mother-in-law or have issues at work. So it was very generic but very identifiable for them, right? They had, and with the client number system especially, that was one of my I didn't have the client number system at the very beginning. I introduced that in I want to say 2019, 2020. Oh, it was great because they knew their number because their number on my website to buy their spells in their custom client portal matched the number that they saw online. And they fucking loved it, okay? It was like they felt like a celebrity because there they were, 118, 148, 121, whatever, on the Harvest Rose Witchery Instagram, and they could see that. So just to give you a little perspective on how sharing client spell work can actually not be an invasion of privacy, and blanket statements like that are actually very harmful. Thank you. Anyways, moving right along. So back to 2016. That was your public service announcement in witchcraft. I used to do these all the time. I'd go on little mini rants in my altar updates. It was really fun. Can't wait to do that again. Although Instagram's just trash. It's so sad to me. Everything's got to go to YouTube. I got to be honest. That's my quick little business tip. Fuck Instagram. I wish that was not the case. But everything I've been predicting for 3 years now is actually happening with Instagram. It's just trash to try to use from a professional perspective. It's really not good. So looking to new horizons, darlings. Anyways, back to 2016. So in 2016, there was an odd energy that came upon the land, particularly the land of the United States of America. This place. I don't know about the rest of the world because I've never been there, but one day I will. Hasn't been time to grid that part of Earth yet. I have to be very intentional about my traveling because I carry immense coding, and sometimes you just don't want that stuff going random places. Work smarter, not harder. So there was some weird shit that started happening, though. Weird things that shouldn't have been coming through started coming through. We're talking real, supernatural style shit. There was a lot of paranormal activity going on. There were a lot of really weird occult groups, particularly surrounding the larger cities of the United States, doing very interesting magic, to say the least. A lot of attempts at, your really traditional things, attempts at summoning demons, really icky sex magic that people were trying to scam people into doing with them. That actually happened to me one time. Some guy tried to scam me of all fucking people. Some guy tried to scam me into having sex with him for sex magic to raise the power of Abraxas. I shit you not. That was actually what he said. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Then happened to later somehow discover where he was located because he had also propositioned my roommate at the time, and she had some connects. And meaning she really knew how to use Google and was not above paying $2 to find out where someone lived, I'll be honest. And we went and buzzed his house, and we could both astrally see he had a demon, a really big bad boy tied up in his basement. So I just let that sucker go, and we've been friends ever since. And nobody heard from him again. So anyways, maybe don't grossly proposition me when you have some shit tied up in your basement that I can find. I'm just saying, that's on an energetic level, it was tied up in his basement, just to be clear. But anyways, I've seen some really crazy shit, y'all. But that's what I'm saying, is some really crazy shit started to come online. There was weird stuff going on, but it didn't really pop off until 2017. 2017, it's like the world turned on its head. And everything got vibrated out. People all of a sudden were realizing that the things that they'd known their whole lives were real. They were realizing that magic was real, and this would only continue to accelerate until about 2021. And then 2021, some really weird shit started to happen again. And we started to see this strange infiltration to the magic energy of this Ascension crowd. And this very thinly veiled Christian coding started to come in and present itself as, starseed information or Ascension information or 5D or whatever, right? Nobody, of course, talking about how dimensions actually work, or the fact that we're already hitting 5D in 2021, and we were going to 7 because it's an incomplete portal system if you don't go all the way to 7D, which is what causes issues because then you're locked in an icky fucking portal range that cannot complete its code. So you're just stuck in basically an interplanetary, interdimensional feedback loop, which is what all these fuckers who have been preaching 5D instead of actually talking about how the density ranges actually work and flames on the side of my face. Like, I'm so angry right now. I woke up this morning and I had to write an anger list, which I haven't had to do in years, but I did it because maybe I should have been doing it for years. I don't know. Maybe that's just a lot of pent up rage, okay? But it's because I needed to have a drink of water. It's because there's this exact same timeline repeating that I've already lived. I've already done this. I was by myself when I did this. I didn't really know any of the people I know now. I didn't have my husband. Everybody was telling me I was Delulu because I could talk to him on the astral plane and knew that he existed and was real. And oh, look at that, bitches. I was right. Delulu is the Solulu, I guess. Because it come a true Lulu. Ooh. So there was weird shit that started coming online in a couple of different pockets of time. Now let's go back to the 2017 pocket real quick. There was really strange stuff that started happening. Like, for example, you would be alert, awake, everything would be rolling, everything would be fine. You'd be like, woo, it's Eddie Money Mondays, let's go, people. And then 15 minutes later, you'd be like, I can't stay awake. I like have to go to sleep. And it was like you were just kind of getting shut down. You had somewhere else to be, you know? That was probably one of the most prevalent things that I'm seeing start again. But I'm watching a timeline unfold that I've already lived, right? With these certain markers of certain events happening, certain energies happening. I feel certain ways that I haven't felt in a long time, and I'm feeling energies that I haven't felt in a long time, and I can explain part of this. So we installed a new grid for Earth that fully came online, began to, at the very end of 2021. By that moment in time, it's like everything had to kind of turn on its head and get shaken out on a much higher level. With this new grid and with starting the process to elevate Earth above 5D and go to 7D, we entered a new astral plane. So physical planes are odd numbers, and astral planes or etheric planes, whatever the fuck you want to call them, all languages made up, and I am sick of this pedantic shit that I have seen pop up over and over and over again from these TikTok wannabe witches, okay? Splitting hairs. Why are you not working on the etheric plane? Why do you say astral plane? Have you ever been there? Because if you had, you probably wouldn't be asking me these stupid fucking questions trying to act like you know more than me. I guarantee you don't. Please sit down and listen, okay? If it sounds egotistical, you don't have to keep listening to me. Like, I'm going to be honest. I do happen to be really, really fucking good at my job. Okay? And I've done it for almost a decade now. So, anyways. So there's odd things happening, and I'm seeing people talk about these odd things because we have a new social media in this era, Threads, and people all over the world are able to just post random shit, and you can see it. The algorithm will just serve it up to you, right? If you program it the right way. And Threads is very much a social media that you program that algorithm, and you are going to get what you program into it. It's a really, really, really interesting mirror for how we program reality. So I'm seeing people, and people are like, people comment on my stuff, or people will randomly post things or whatever. But I'm seeing people have these very similar reactions. Everybody across the world, gets, somebody feels a sudden onset of exhaustion come on at 8 p.m. their time. It's 3 p.m. someone else's time, and they just get smacked out of nowhere, right? And it's, that it's 12 a.m. somewhere else, and somebody else, but it's all at the exact same time across the world. It's just different times where we're at because we're in different time zones. And there's just an energy that's like, it's like there's this, it's a hunting energy. It quite literally feels like on another plane of reality, we're energetically being hunted for sport. It's contributing to extreme anxiety. I got chills when I said that. People just think, oh, I'm anxious because the world's on fire. And yes, you are. But also, I'm telling you, there's a little bit more going on than people are really paying attention to, because I've lived this timeline before. Okay, and I know what to do. I know where to go. I know how to handle it. But this has been experienced before. And so if you're feeling certain things all the time, especially on the mental level, this is an extreme mental game. Before, the astral plane was more, I'm not gonna lie, I fucking loved 4D as an astral plane. Oh my God, it was so fun. We had demons. We had weird, random, obscure things that sound like they fell out of Supernatural, but they were actually real. I mean, we had race, we had jinn, we had everything. We had ghosts. Oh my God, serve me a ghost right now. I want a ghost, please. Can I have some ghosts? I miss the ghosts. Have you noticed the ghosts aren't really around anymore? I'm like, maybe let's bring the ghost back. I don't know. I don't know about y'all. I have always had lots of ghost friends, and I actually had, my house was like a refugee for ghosts in Dallas, and we would have parties, me, the cats, Sally, and the ghost. Sally was my Yorkie Poo familiar if you weren't from the Sally days. And we'd have conga lines. I'd put on some music and we'd have conga lines around the house. It was really fun with the ghosts. I was congaing with the ghosts, just to be clear. I was congaing with the ghosts. And if you feel the urge to tell me how weird that sounds, I'm just going to go ahead and say, don't. Because whatever platform you use to tell me I'm weird, I'm going to block you on. Because I'm actually fucking sick of people telling me that I'm weird. I know it. And I also happen to be very, very, very fucking successful at being weird. And it's usually like somebody who's trying to bring some mean girl energy, not knowing I can smell it from 10 planets away. And I'm just not into that. Okay? It's rude. Stop telling people they're weird. Fucking accept me for who I am or get the fuck off my channel. I don't know what to tell you. There you go. Anyways, so... Oh, my blockbuster went out. Yay! I was casting a blockbuster for myself. And I think this might be the shortest podcast episode I've ever recorded. But I'm going to be honest, we're still at the very beginning of the timeline. I just really wanted to record this and say that, especially if you're experiencing anything, oh my God, and then let's talk about this real quick. There's these weird fucking shadows all over, the astral plane, and you see different stuff. It's not the same frequency as the shadow people or the hat people or any of that stuff. It's just it's like these imprints, but it's like an imprint of energetic black mold that is also a fungi and just kind of growing, but also is sentient and can potentially communicate with you. I'm not sure. I'm still testing that out. I've got I'm always doing some interesting things that most other people don't. What can I say? They're everywhere. Sometimes they appear in figure form, but they do not have the same frequency as the shadow people. I would like to make that clear. If you've ever seen a shadow person, you know the frequency I'm talking about. There's this fear frequency that comes with the shadow people until you know how to navigate that. They do not have that. You just see them and it's like, oh, black bat on the wall. Cool. Except the bat's 3 feet wide. And it's not actually on the physical plane of existence, but you can see it for a minute. And there's weird stuff going on with the light. Things will just, all of a sudden, you'll just notice that there's a dark shadow in the room, or it seems like a light turns off somewhere, but you can't actually locate where that light turned off. It's just there was more light, and then suddenly the light is gone. Right? And that's actually happening on the physical plane of reality. I see it, particularly outside. I'll notice that all of a sudden I'll be looking out our front windows and it's it gets way darker out there. I go over to look and see nothing's changed. The exact same amount of light that I just saw is on. There's nothing out there. But it's like everything just gets darker for a moment. That's happening. So there's clearly some sort of like interdimensional bleed through occurring. It's all the signs. They're there. You know. But I want you to really start to pay attention and think back to if you experienced anything on the supernatural or paranormal levels back in the 2016, 2017 era, what that was like, what you experienced, and even just weird shit, right? Like, you know, I can remember all of these times where I would be like, you know, I'd be like sitting at work, or sometimes I'd even be like work. You know, I'd already started Harvest Rose at this point in time. So I was usually working either at my muggle job or on Harvest Rose. But I can remember talking to one of my friends back then, and we would both be feeling like she would describe it as like, I feel like I'm being put to sleep. Like, I feel like something is energetically putting me to sleep. And I'd be like, me too. We would literally have to like go take a nap. That's not a bad thing. I want to like, Michael and I literally had that happen today. I was like, but it was the exact same. Like, I just felt like I was being like lulled to sleep. It didn't feel, it was like some of the best sleep I've gotten in a few months, though. I gotta be real. Like, it was it was like a peak nap. I think I napped for 3 hours. So I also feel like there's a lot of resetting going on right now. And there's a lot of, I was even talking about this right before we went to sleep. I was like, I wonder if timelines switch when you go to sleep. Right? It was like basically what I said, but I didn't phrase it that way. Michael was just like, oh, sitting over here listening to me record this. But I feel like your timelines can switch when you go to sleep. So I feel like that's maybe where the phrase, I have to sleep on it, comes from. Let me sleep on it, see if I'm still on the same timeline tomorrow. See if this is a real timeline or if this is just something trying to come in and play me, you know? There's some shit going on, okay? There's some stuff afoot. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm not saying any of this to be like, oh, fear-mongering and danger. I'm like, yo, I'm going to be honest. The weird shit started happening, and then it was like magic just got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's like you have to push through the weird shit to get to the real magic. And if I'm correct, and we're just repeating this timeline on a higher level, you have to push through the weird shit to get to the magic. This is why not spiritual bypassing is so important. This is why not bypassing like, oh, no, everything's fine. Right? This is why being really honest about things is so important. This is also why witchcraft and spellcasting are so important, because I'm going to be real. If you've got some shit affecting your timelines, you can't meditate and breath work and mindset it away. Okay? I have actually tried. I've tried frequencying it away. I've tried everythinging it away. Okay? I actually tested this. I had stuff on me. I refused to do spell work about it. Could I remove it without casting magic? And the answer was unequivocally no. And I gotta be honest, I'm real fucking adept. I have actually studied every magical system I could find on Earth over the last 15 years. I devoted my entire life to the study and practice of witchcraft for a decade plus. I spent my entire life for many years. I did not have a significant other. I did not have children. I got up and professional witched by day, and I researched and I studied and I learned by night. And on average, I was spending about 8 hours a day working and 8 to 10 hours a day witching at night, like researching, learning, studying. I also most of the time spent my weekends 6 to 10 hours on the weekend a day, studying, researching, learning, practicing. I am extremely adept because I devoted so much of my time to my craft. and to the study of an immense amount of mythologies, practices. I've talked to so many people all over the world about all kinds of different things. I've sought out information. I've literally just gone into groups on the internet and been like, anybody ever experienced this? Just so I could get the data. That was really fun. I actually ended up starting my own Facebook group one time about a phenomenon called the Watchers that popped up in 2015, 2016. I was doing a lot of research after I'd first started Harvest Rose about them. And I talked to people all over the world who had encountered this phenomenon of, I got chills when I said that, but of people who, it's like you can energetically see these beings. They're not physical people. They're energetic beings who gather just before something is about to happen. And I was seeing them en masse. In 2016, they would gather outside my apartment building, and I'd see like 40 to 50 beings standing in the field across from my apartment building in Garland, Texas, or, outside of they were like watching me constantly. It was really wild. But I talked to so many people, both in the DFW area. I talked to people in England. I talked to people in South America. I talked to people in all over the world about this phenomenon. And they had said that they had experienced seeing these groups of watchers as well, particularly in areas when a disaster was going to happen or when something really big was going to occur, a pocket of interest, things like that. So I don't know where that came from. I haven't even thought about that in so long, but yeah. I did that too. That was one of my little pet projects in 2016 or 2017 that I was working on. And then I got super busy with my clients and writing my first witchcraft courses and stuff. And so kind of had other things to research, but just devoted an immense amount of time to the knowledge that's sitting in my head. It's pretty cool. So anyways, go forth, be fabulous, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.